In this video, we're going to look at 3 ways that you can get the most out of your Insta360 X5 action camera. Now, although I'm running through the X5 today, these 3 tips are actually relevant for all action cameras. The vast majority of them will allow you to do these things to make the footage better. So if you haven't got one of these, stay tuned and I'm sure you'll still learn something. So the first thing you absolutely need to do if you want to get the most out of the X5 is this: use ND filters. In a nutshell, an ND filter or neutral density filter is effectively sunglasses for the sensor. It reduces the amount of light getting in there. And the reason that we want to do that is it creates a more cinematic shot. It's something called the 180-degree rule. The reason this works is that this is all to do with motion blur. When you use this setting and you get it just right, the amount of motion blur in your footage looks very natural, and it looks like the sort of thing that you'd see when you go to see an actual film at the cinema. So instantly you start to recognize it as looking more cinematic. So how do you do it? There's a simple rule. You basically just need to have your shutter speed matching your frame rate, and by that I basically mean 1 over double your frame rate. I shoot at 24 frames per second. You can find out what frame rate you're shooting in the settings of the camera, and you can change it. To get the ideal motion blur, your shutter speed needs to be 1 over double that. So for me it's 1 over 48, but if you're shooting at 25, it's 50, 30, it's 60, and so on. It's worth pointing out you don't have to get it exactly right, but the closer you can get to that number, the more cinematic your footage looks. What you don't want to do though is get your shutter speed exactly right at the cost of everything else. Because most action cameras have a small sensor size compared to a cinema camera like the one I'm filming on, you don't want to limit all the light that's going to the sensor because it will really struggle. Even with this has a 1 over 1.28 inch sensor, which is pretty decent for an action camera. You don't want to be using ND filters in really low light. It will start to spoil the image. It's a fine balance of making sure that enough light gets on the sensor, but not so much that it starts to look choppy. Here's a couple of examples without using the ND filter, and here's some using the ND filter so you can see how much nicer it looks. The next thing you want to do is to shake up your shooting style and get a bit of variety in your shots. The great thing about action cameras is they tend to come with loads of different settings. This, for example, has more than I've ever seen on any action camera because it's 360 degrees. It does have that little bit more flexibility. But even the likes of a GoPro, for example, will allow you to do a time lapse, a hyperlapse, and faster and slower frame rates to give you that bit more variety in your footage. Why is it important that you change your shots? Well, the reason should be obvious. If you don't, it starts to get very boring and your audience will switch off. My biggest pet peeve is when I click on a video on YouTube that's a cycling or a bikepacking film and someone's just stuck their action camera on the bike and they've not made any effort to be creative at all. Even by changing the position of the camera or changing the settings a little bit, they haven't done that and it's just stuck in the same place. It can be really boring, and I feel like it was a massive wasted opportunity to do something really exciting. Take advantage of the fact that this is a 360-degree camera. It has loads of possibilities in it, and if you're creative, you can get some really interesting shots with it. One thing I would say though is try not to just overdo the fisheye lens that can come with a 360 camera if you're not careful, and just do that all the time. It really does disorientate the viewer. I know I've been guilty of doing it in the past because it's easy. So if you want to make it really special, be really thoughtful about the sort of shots that you get in. The fact this is a 360 camera means that the selfie stick, or the tripod in this case, is completely invisible, meaning you can get some really cool shots where the camera's kind of floating in the air. I also really love how you can adjust the pan of the shot, so it almost looks like someone has moved the camera as you fly by. This is something I've done loads in the past to get a slightly more interesting shot in an area that might look otherwise a little bit boring. And as well as being able to shoot yourself from the front of the bike, if you're doing a vlog for example, you can of course attach this to a selfie stick, pull it up really high and attach it to the back of the bike, and it almost looks like you're being followed by a drone. Right, so now we've got the style of the shot out of the way, let's look at the actual settings that you need in this camera to get the most out of it. I'd recommend shooting in 8K, but that does limit your frame rate options to 24, 25 or 30, which is fine for most people. But if you're wanting to do more slow motion stuff, you need to go to 5.7K, and that gives you more options there. If you swipe right, you can go into your settings and go into manual mode for more control over things like your shutter speed. In the lower frame rates, you want to be going anywhere from 1 over 40 to 1 over 60. But remember the 180-degree rule. For your ISO, you want to keep this number as low as possible. I'd recommend 200 if you're shooting in the light, as the higher the number, the more noisy the footage looks. But don't be afraid to bump it up if your footage is looking a little bit dark. For your colour profile, you'd want to choose flat. That gives you a higher dynamic range and more options to edit it in post. And these are the settings that I would recommend if you're shooting in 8K. I'd recommend shooting in video mode because stabilization is already applied there, and pure video if I'm shooting in less than ideal light. You've also got the option of a time-lapse or a hyperlapse, which Insta360 call time shift, and a really cool setting called bullet time. This shoots in 5.7K and 120 frames per second, basically down the length of the selfie stick, so you can get some really cool shots, and because of the higher frame rate you can slow it down for some cool slow-mo stuff as well. This sort of shot is pretty unique and is only really doable with a 360-degree camera. I want to caveat all of that by saying you don't actually need to do all of those things all of the time. You've got to balance up the fact that this takes a lot of practice. It also takes a lot of faffing about to get the exact settings right for all conditions when you're out on your cycling adventures. So a lot of the time setting things on auto can be absolutely fine, but remember your ND filters. So that's it. Those are 3 ways to get the most out of your X5. It's all about your shutter speed, so make sure you're using an ND filter to get the most out of that. Try and be creative with your shots and use different settings like bullet time to get some really quirky shots that only a 360 camera can do. And also look at your settings and make sure you've dialed them in just right so that you can get the absolute best quality out of this great camera. If you have any questions about the X5 or filming in general, leave a comment and I will get back to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.